Hello and welcome to another tutorial here on Mediocre Tutorials. Today we're gonna talk about making a logging into WoW World of Warcraft Classic. Now that the season of Discovery has been going on for a while here now, and you might be wondering, hey, what's that all about? What is the season of Discovery? Why is everybody playing it? Why am I not playing it? How do I play it? What is Warcraft? Well, I'm here to help you with that. So, without doing it too much, let's move on here. So what you're looking at right now is the BattleNet client that you can get from Blizzard. Um, you can find it just by looking for it online and using your favorite web browser. You can download the client and you can make an account and log in, and then this is your launcher, right? So what you're going to want to do at this point is you're going to want to navigate to the WoW Classic game, and then you're going to need to install it. I already have it installed, so I'm going to show you how to play it, assuming that you've gotten to that point. So what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom in real nice, and we're going to go down to this play button, and we're going to hit the play button. And this should open up the game. And here we are in the game. Let's back up out of the game. So what you have here is the login screen. You have a number of different options here that you can go to if you want. You can create an account. Up here is the logo, and then you'll have some news if there is any there. You can see that tomorrow, on March 5th, there's going to be a scheduled maintenance taking place. Moving on down here, you have the quit button if you want to quit the game. Above that, credits. You can click on that if you want to view some credits, and you have various options down here to go faster or rewind, or just go at a normal speed if you want. And then more credits to click through if you want here. I'm not sure how to get out of it, so we're just gonna watch it here for a little bit. Oh, you you just found out live here with me. We're both learning together. You can hit the escape button to get out of the credits if you want. Then we have cinematics, which 10 years. You can load the cinematic if you want and view that. I'm not going to view it. That would take this whole video. Maybe we'll do another video of that. You can do your system settings here, and you have a number of different options. Graphics, you can look at your graphic settings here, and so many different things to twist and turn and scale and slide. You can have a lot of fun just doing that if you want, just trying different things to see how it changes, how it looks in the game. Just kind of endless possibilities there with the combinations of the options you can do there. Same thing with the audio. I choose not to have any audio in the game because I don't want to hear it. And then languages, not too many here. Pretty easy to figure out. Pretty slim pickings here. And same with the network. as well. Moving on, there's a community site, and then your account. So now we're going to want to, you can also log out if you want, but we're going to reconnect. And this will take us to our realms list. A realm, if you think of a realm like a place that you want to go and you want to play in, it's different from other realms, right? And so if someone's playing in one realm and you're playing in another, you cannot play together in the same game. You have to be on the same realm to play together. Here are the available realms for WoW Classic. In the seasonal tab, that's where I'm playing right now. You have a number of different choices here. A couple of them are all, and then you have some types for PvP. That is player versus player. You have a normal type, which is a normal type, and then you have RP PvP, which is role-playing PvP, and then just an RP. If you really just, you'll really want to get into it, you can do that. On the down here on the bottom, you have a classic era as well, with a number of different realms there. Much more over there, and then a hardcore, much less there. They kind of make the number of realms correlated to how many people want to play the game, I guess. Anyway, let's go to our realm. Let's go to a new realm. Let's go to a normal new realm on Wild Growth. When you first get there, you're met with a character selection screen if you have not yet made a character. And so let's break it down for you. Over here on the left side, we have Alliance and Horde in blue and red respectively. The Alliance, they have 4 races, and the Horde, they have 4 races. The Alliance have Human, Dwarf, Night Elf, and Gnome. And the Horde have Orcs, Undead, Tauren, and Troll. And you can be body 1 or body 2. And you can really you can change that, and then you have a number of options here to change how it looks. Skin color and face, and hairstyle, hair color, facial hair. And this will differ depending on, it'll stay the same for most of them, except for some of the Horde. They have tusks or facial hair or features, I suppose. So you're going to want to change that around to suit your liking, because you never know how long you're going to be looking at this character, and you might want them to look pleasing to your eyes. And then we have what's called classes, and classes is what defines the gameplay for you. Some classes will be what they call melee classes, which means that you fight up front with your weapons in your hands, on the front line, so to speak. And the warriors, they can have a sword and a shield, and they can do what is called tanking. A tank is the person who's taking the hits from the bad guys, and they're kind of maintaining the attention of the bad guys so that the other classes with them can do damage or heal and not be getting hit. So that is a role of a class. A role is a tank, or a damage dealer, or a healer. And the classes, we have warrior, a paladin, a rogue, a priest, a mage, and a warlock. Now, not every race can be every class. You can see how they change as you navigate through them. On the horde side, instead of having a paladin, they can have what's called a shaman. And they're in tune with nature and things like that. Also, you can be a hunter and some other things. A druid. You turn into animals. Very cool. And over here you have some information about who the Alliance or the Horde are. It changes depending on what you click on. And some race information. And each race can have different perks to them. They call them racial abilities or passives. Like a dwarf can turn into stone, and they're better with guns, or resistant to frost, or they can find treasure easier. Humans, they can detect some stealth or detection better. Detect the stealth detection. That means they can see people who are stealthed. They can detect that better. They have more spirit in them. Spirit is a stat. A stat is an attribute that your character has. So you'll have something like spirit, or intellect, or strength, or stamina, or agility, and those all do different things. Spirit, it helps you to regenerate your health and your mana. Mana is what you use as a resource you use to cast spells. That will help you regenerate that quicker. More on that later. They also have a bonus to reputation gains. A reputation is a different faction within the game. The game that you can do things for, and then they like you more. And the more that they like you, sometimes they'll give you things, or you can earn the right to buy things from them. And then the skill with various weapons increases. Moving on, night elves. They can fade into the shadows with an ability called Shadow Meld, or they have a little bit more chance to dodge attacks. Or if you die a lot, you can be a wisp and you move faster while you're dead to return to your corpse. More on that later. Then they're more resistant to nature damage. There are different types of damage in the game. Nature is one of them. The gnomes, they can escape from speed altering effects with an ability called Escape Artist. So if you're frozen in place or something like that, you can use that ability to get out of that. They're smarter with more intelligence, and they're resistant to arcane damage. Now, arcane damage is one of the other types of damage that are in the game. If you remember, we were just talking about the nature damage as a night elf. Well, gnomes have resistance to arcane damage. And then their engineering skill is increased. Now, engineering is a profession. Professions are things that you can learn in the game that help you make things. And you can make some money with that stuff, or make some cool things that are quite handy or useful. More on that later. Now, orcs, they can enrage, increasing damage but diminishing ability to be healed. Now, Alliance and Horde cannot play in the same group. They're not friends. They're at war with each other. The game is World of Warcraft, after all. So if you want to play a horde or an alliance, you have to pick a side, and on that realm, you can only be that side. You can't have a horde and an alliance character on your account on the same server. They would have to be on different servers. And depending on what you're doing in the game, or where you are, or what type of realm you're on, you might fight them. And so they can also, they're resistant to stun effects, and their damage done by pets is increased, and their skills with axes is also increased. The undead, they can be immune to fear, sleep, and charm, or they can eat corpses to regain some health, or they can breathe underwater. You can drown in the game if you're underwater too long. So they can be underwater a little bit longer because they're the undead. And if you remember, the Night Elves had the nature resistance, and then the gnomes had the arcane resistance. Well, the undead get shadow resistance. So their shadow is another type of damage. Moving on to the Tauren, these big guys, or girls, they can stomp and stun people with their big hooves, or they can have a little more health, or they can be better at herbalism. Herbalism is a profession, if you recall professions. You can go and gather plants and flowers, and you can do things with them. And they're resistant to another type of damage, nature damage, which, if you recall, is the same type of damage that Night Elves are resistant to. So a little parallel there between the two factions. And then lastly, we have the Trolls. They can go berserk, similar to how the Horde orcs can also enrage and do some more damage. The Trolls can go berserk and increase their attack and casting speed, which can also lead to more damage, but it's different. You're just attacking faster as opposed to hitting harder. So something to think about there. And they can regenerate more. Similar to the spirit of the humans, having more spirit there, they can regenerate their resources quicker. And they can do more damage to beasts. There's different enemy types in the game. Beasts is one of them, and you'll encounter a lot of beasts in the game. Throwing and bow weapon skills are increased. I don't know too many people that throw their weapons in the game. I don't even know. That might be a typo. I don't think I've ever seen that. But the bows are definitely in the game. And not every class can use the same weapons or gear types. There's a lot to go over. This is a massive game after all. But bows is one of the weapon types. So we'll have more on that later. And then they have in the bottom panel here on the right some information about that particular class and their lore, so to speak. And so you're going to want to pick a class that can do the, is the gameplay that you want to do, but can also fulfill the type of role that you want to fulfill, and then 2, has the combination of the race and the class that you want, and see the one that looks the coolest to you. And I suppose the 4th one would be what your friends are playing, because again, you can't be a horde and play with your friends who are an alliance. or vice versa. Unless you want to, you can be a horde and you can go try to kill them. But I digress. So let's move on to the actual naming of the character. So down here in the name panel, or the name text area, where it says name, you can type it in manually, blah blah blah, or you can hit the randomize button and it will think of a name that doesn't, they're not normal sounding names, and they don't really, you could probably think of a much better one. Anadalex. That's one, huh? A Rarl. I like that one. Rarl, I'll give him that. I enjoy that one. You can also rotate with these buttons down here. And I don't believe I mentioned you can also just randomize how you look if you want. If you just want to roll the dice a few times. But let's see if we can make Rarl the warrior here. Oh, the name wasn't taken, so we can go ahead and start. There's a shop if you want to buy things like character transfers. But I don't know if we need to worry about that right now. Add-ons. As you can see, I have a number of different add-ons. Add-ons are things you can, external resources you can get that were created by other people for this game, supported by the game itself, that you can enable in the game. And a lot of useful things there, but you know, I want to show the very plain Jane experience for you here. So I'm going to disable everything, and then we'll go ahead and we'll enter the world. And then we'll have a cutscene, a different cutscene per race that plays here. This is showing what's called Stormwind, which is a human capital. And there's probably some dialogue going on right now, but you have to, I have my sound muted. So we'll watch for a moment. This is showing Elwyn Forest here, which is the starting area, or zone. There's different zones in the game, which we'll get into later. And this is the starting area of the zone. This is where the humans start out, in this little valley called Northshire Abbey, I believe. But here we go, we're gonna move into our character here. And here we are now in game in Northshire Valley. And there's just a lot to unpack here now. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this first part of this tutorial. And just to refresh, we talked about how to get the client for Battle.net and how to log into the game and the various options that are there when we do log into the game. I hope that this was found useful for you, and I hope that you have a really good day. And I look forward to mentoring you on your journey through Warcraft. It's a great game. I played it for nearly 20 years now, and there's just so much fun to be had, and so many adventures to go on, and great relationships to build, and there's really just no other experience like it. I can't wait to help you and share this with you, this experience. So I really hope that you'll continue to join me, and I just want to thank you again for being part of this. Thank you.